The three biggest changes we see in e-learning. Number one, decentralized education and learning. I'll go into that in a sec. Number two is all about the learner. Now, people say that they're all about the learner right now, but they're still building technologies that have nothing to do with the learner, and they have everything to do with trying to make money. And the third thing is a complete change on how we look at institutional education.
As the younger generations get older, one of the big trends that we're seeing is personalization. Personalizing e-learning and learning as a whole for them. Generic training, I believe, will have a smaller purpose, especially as the years go on, because people want that personal touch and specific attention to help them with their specific needs. So with that being said, not only is generic content gonna dip, in my opinion, but another thing that we're gonna see is companies are gonna be spending time and money and are gonna be stressed out of their minds trying to fix something when they're not even looking at the right thing to fix.
Decentralized learning is you own your learning history. So instead of having a resume of learning that your elementary school, your high school, your college, wherever you got that certificate, wherever you took that online course, owning that data, you own your learning data. So basically you're walking around with, in your pocket, your entire history of learning. That's decentralized learning. Instead of having to go through a third-party organization to get that proof that you did that education or learning, you own all that. So that's the first thing. The second thing is learner-centric technology actually. What does that mean? That means that there's going to be less and less companies building e-learning technology.
Because there's going to be a decrease in engagement due to lack of personalization, they're going to believe it is because of the technology. Because everybody thinks e-learning is about the perfect learning management system or having the perfect technology environment. Newsflash. Technology, yes, is it important, but is it the most important thing? Absolutely not. And anybody that tells you that is wrong. Don't take it from me. Take it from our experiences of working with not just small companies, but Fortune 500 companies that have spent not hundreds of thousands of dollars, millions of dollars in technology, only for that technology to fail. You know why? Because they didn't focus on their learner. They didn't focus on their people.
The big companies like Google, Microsoft, Apple, and Amazon are actually the best equipped companies to provide the best learner-centric technology because they have the data and they already have the user experience that is most conducive to the learner. You could also look at like Facebook or TikTok because learners already are learning on these platforms. It just hasn't been compartmentalized in an LMS yet. There's organizations out there trying to mimic this user experience, but they don't have the resources or the data to do it as succinctly as these large companies that are already doing it in the social media space and the entertainment space. So that is why we're gonna have less companies doing this, and it's probably gonna be taken over by these big companies. And then the third piece is the institutions are gonna become way less important. They already are less important because it's gonna be more about the subject matter expert or the OG teacher that everyone wants to take a course from, taking their knowledge and that knowledge being captured in e-learning or online learning. People are just going to want to take that course instead of learning from some random professor that's only been a professor for 5 years. Like that is what is happening, is you have these celebrities in these different disciplines at these big institutions. That's how Harvard and Yale and all these institutions became anything anyway. It's about the people. But if you can take this knowledge and build it into e-learning, you don't need those people anymore. So those people, why would they go and teach at Harvard when they can go and teach their own course themselves? And you're actually going to learn a lot more from this woman who has their online course here than from going to Harvard and has only been teaching there for 5 years.
So That is another big challenge I'm going to see, is due to lack of education of how e-learning works best and where you get the biggest results with e-learning, which is by focusing on your learner. Instead of focusing on that, the lack of engagement is going to make people believe it's about the technology. We got to pull the data respective to why the technology isn't working. Technology, 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 when the real problem is focusing on the learner. And what the learner wants is to feel important, to be heard, for their needs to be met. If you build a whole entire e-learning process around always getting learner feedback and what they need and how to make it more personal to them, you're going to have a successful e-learning program and online course, not just today, but for the years to come.